Well, I was concerned because I thought the coaches looking at video had figured out how to slow Bradley down, and that was to play him. He had to have the ball in the right hand rather than take away his strength to dribble left, dribble drive, dribble pull up, fadeaway jumper, etc. What they did in this game early was they cleared out the side. So the Aztecs cleared a whole bunch off. Florida Atlantic had to go with those guys, and there was bigger space for Bradley to operate, start the drive, pull back three-point shot, because they weren't doubling him. There wasn't any help. He hits 3 threes out of the gate. Great career. And, Bradley's a difference maker, and the transfer portal, I think, has really changed Aztec basketball, and they've hit the jackpot on kids. I tried to think back in my mind's eye, and it started when Steve Fisher got the first transfer, and it was Randy Holcomb, who had been at Fresno State and bounced into a JC and then showed up. And he could shoot. He wasn't a superstar, but he was fairly consistent, played at the other end of the floor, and that was the beginning. And then Tony Bland came from Syracuse. He's from Los Angeles, big-time reputation. He grew in to be a scorer, kind of like Randy Holcomb. And then the whole thing just exploded. They started getting guys out of the Pac-12. Xavier Thames is one of the great guards San Diego State's ever had, and doesn't get a lot of national recognition. He came from Washington State. And then who came after that? Malachi Flynn, first-round draft pick, NBA. If those guys had stayed at Washington State, if those coaches had coached them up at Washington State would not be a bottom feeder in the conference. So those guys were really the trigger points that allowed Aztec basketball to really grow. Good kids, not bad citizens, no egos, selfless, great team players, and great talents. And then that, of course, led us to this entourage, these guys in the jigsaw puzzle box that I talked to, what Bradley did coming from Cal, what Trammell did, subverting his game because he knew he was not going to be a starter all the time, but what Trammell has brought from Seattle, and then obviously what Ledee did at Ohio State, Texas Christian, and now it's just really grown into a man. Aztecs have used the transfer portal probably better than anybody on the West Coast, and that portal is the reason they're playing in this game tonight against Connecticut.
Yeah, it seems that they have a unique sort of filtering process of how they go about looking for players. I mean, they're obviously looking for those under the radar kids with a chip on their shoulder, but gym rats, they're looking for those kind of guys that want to work and want to hustle. And they're looking for guys, that have that character that's going to work in that environment. Whereas a lot of times there's these disgruntled prima donna superstars that are the ones in the portal that other teams roll the dice on, and those kind of kids usually blow up on them. So Dutcher, Velasquez, all those guys know exactly the right formula.
Profile. This is who we want. This is what they need to do. This is how we teach the game. Will you understand it so you can play our game? And defense is obviously part of that equation. All right, before